Kim Jong-un is the ruler of North Korea, a country often called the Hermit Kingdom, closed off from the rest of the world. Isolation defines its borders and its people. He commands one of the world's largest militaries, an army ready to follow his every command. And he has nuclear weapons, making the world nervous. He follows his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, treated like a god, and his father, Kim Jong-il, who ruled through fear and control. Now it is Kim Jong-un's turn as supreme leader. From classrooms to homes, the Kim family is everywhere. The system rests on intimidation, disappearances, and labor camps. When he took power, the world wondered which path he would choose. Every dictator faces a choice. For Kim, it is especially sharp. The dictator's dilemma. On one side, the past. Brutal, controlling, isolated North Korea. A system built to keep him in power. On the other, a future that is modern, connected, and prosperous. A better life for his people, if he opens the country. But opening could erode control and trigger unrest. This tension shapes every decision he makes. Staying closed means illicit trade, guns, drugs, cybercrime, for hard currency, money for nukes, elites, and the military. His regime's lifeline. But the people pay the price in poverty and isolation. In 2017, a shocking event showed how ruthless Kim could be when threatened. Kim Jong-nam, his older half-brother, was attacked in Malaysia. Once a possible successor, he lived in exile and criticized the regime. Two young women were duped into thinking it was a prank show. They wiped a substance on his face at the terminal. It was VX, one of the deadliest nerve agents. Within minutes, he fell gravely ill and sought a clinic. He died en route to the hospital. Footage and evidence pointed to a sophisticated operation. The women, unwitting pawns, were arrested. North Korean operatives handled the agent, watched, and vanished. Some were later seen accompanying his body back to North Korea. It was a state-sponsored assassination, a public, humiliating message from Kim Jong-un. Beneath any talk of modernization, fear and violence still secure the family business. To understand Kim today, look at the hidden world he grew up in. Secret palaces, unseen by the public, private roads, rail lines, and tunnels concealed his movements. Passages ran under rivers and mountains, away from satellites. He was treated like royalty, but it was a lonely childhood. Called the Little General, even real officers bowed to him. He was given a real pistol as a child. His playmates were bodyguards, grown men sworn to protect him. He learned to trust only a very small circle. Then, another world entered his life. A teenage exile to Switzerland would change him forever. In Bern, he lived under a false name, attending a regular public school. There, he was just another student. He wore Nike and Bulls jerseys, obsessed with basketball. Classmates remember a competitive, friendly kid with a cheeky smile. He skied the Alps and saw NBA games in Europe. He glimpsed wealth, democracy, and an open society. At 17, it ended abruptly. He returned to the most repressive dictatorship on earth. Privilege at home, freedom abroad. Two worlds forged a complicated ruler. Those dual experiences would guide the choices he makes to this day. In a system where trust is rare, Kim relied on his sister, Kim Yo Jong. For years, even her existence was a secret. She rose through the ranks, becoming his indispensable advisor. She shaped state media and her brother's image. Most critical messages likely passed through her hands first. In 2018, she entered the spotlight in South Korea, first Kim to do so since the war. Elegant, enigmatic, and strategically effective. Then her tone hardened, a public voice issuing threats and rebukes. She presided over the demolition of a symbol of peace talks. More than a sweet princess, she is the regime's ruthless enforcer. Early in his rule, Kim surprised observers with visible modernization. A luxury ski resort, a slice of the Swiss Alps in North Korea. Amusement parks and water parks followed. Shopping malls in Pyongyang signaled prosperity. Unlike his reclusive father, he smiled, spoke, and showed a softer style. He introduced his wife, Ri Sol-ju, a modern, public first lady. He expanded cell phone access and a tightly controlled intranet. New influencers portrayed a socialist fairyland. But most luxuries serve Pyongyang's elite, not the countryside. Phones are monitored, content is managed, control remains intact. He projects progress while gripping power, a delicate balance. The Kims built a wall of information to preserve their rule. They teach paradise at home, corruption abroad, perfection in leadership. If the illusion breaks, the regime trembles. Smuggled movies, shows, and news slip past the censors. They reveal a world that contradicts state propaganda. Even a controlled network lets light through cracks. Comparisons spur questions. Why are our lives so hard? They learn their leaders live in luxury. The state punishes and polices, but tech keeps seeping in. Every connection aids the economy and threatens control. Open the window, and a storm may follow. To navigate his dilemma, Kim uses a dual act. Good cop, bad cop. He plays statesman, cool-headed, diplomatic. He talks of peace and development. She delivers the threats and insults. She targets activists, enforces discipline, signals ruthlessness. Two messages at once. Diplomacy for the world, fear for adversaries. He avoids the role of executioner and cultivates legitimacy. She is the enforcer. He is the captain. Modernization without surrendering control, by design. A crafted performance to secure the dynasty's future. Kim stands at a crossroads, halfway to the summit of his ambition. He must deliver better lives and a more modern society. He has stepped onto the world stage like never before. Yet true reform would undo the very tools of his rule. Nukes secure his survival, but sanctions choke his economy. Pressure mounts from abroad, and from within his own elite. And if information spreads, the people may become the greatest risk. Paranoia, fueled by bloodline struggles, shadows every choice. He seeks legitimacy and prosperity without falling into the abyss. The fate of millions depends on the path the young king chooses.